video is about the various different calendars that have been used in the interpretation of Bible prophecy. Bible prophecy involves times, dates, days, weeks, months, and years. This necessarily means the use of calendars. There are a vast number of different calendars used by different peoples in different times. The Gregorian calendar is a calendar used in most parts of the world today. It was introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582. To understand calendars, we have to understand about the Earth's rotation around the Sun. The solar year is on average approximately 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes and 45 seconds long, or 365.24219 days. This creates problems for calendar makers because it's not a round number of days. Over the centuries, people have got around this problem in various ways in order to keep their calendars in line with the seasons. Our current calendar is a Gregorian calendar. This has a 365-day year, but as a year is slightly more than this, an extra day is added every 4th year, which is called a leap year. If a year was exactly 365.25 days, then this would work. However, as it is 365.24219 days, it does not quite work, so a further adjustment has to be made. The years that are divisible by 100 are not leap years unless they are divisible by 400, in which case they are. Consequently, 1900, for example, was not a leap year, but the year 2000 was a leap year. This system keeps the calendar nearly enough in line with the seasons. Before we had the Gregorian calendar, we had the Julian calendar. The Julian calendar was originally proposed by Julius Caesar and was a calendar, as I've said, we had before the Gregorian calendar. The calendar simply took a year as 365.25 days and allowed for one leap year every 4 years. Over the centuries, the slight discrepancy from the actual year length led to an increasing misalignment of the calendar with the seasons. For this reason, Pope Gregory introduced his reform, and most Catholic countries soon followed. Britain and its colonies did not change until much later. As a side note, when Britain did introduce its changes in the calendar, there are apocryphal stories of riots called the calendar riots. People were worried that losing 11 days on a calendar would mean they lost 11 days of their life. It's just an interesting side issue to the main story, but may not all be true. The Jewish calendar is based on the lunar year of 354 days. 12 months of the calendar are alternatively 30 days and 29 days, making 354 days altogether. Obviously, this is way off the actual length of a solar year, so intercalary months are inserted in the calendar to harmonize with the solar year. Modern Jewish calendars generally show that in the 3rd, 6th and 8th years an intercalary month is inserted in order to keep the first month, Nisan, in the spring season. However, there is no extra month mentioned in the Bible. The 13th month was simply a gap of 30 or 31 days that was left while Israel waited to see the new moon, which signaled their new year. This had to be when the barley was ready. The first month was originally called Abib, green years, and only later called Nisan. Since Bible times, the Jews have brought in their system of intercalary months, but this often positions the first month of Nisan too early in the spring. Frank Payne, in his book The Miracle of Time, believed the 354-day lunar calendar to be one of the keys to understanding God's plan of time. You can see the section on the website called the Jubilee Cycle for more details of this. The 360-day year. There is evidence of a 360-day year in the Bible. You can see the website for more details of this. The measure of the year seems to be of use in prophecy and determining God's prophetic plan rather than being of use as a calendar for practical purposes. So Robert Anderson believes the 360-day year to be a key to understanding Bible chronology. See the section in the website on Sir Robert Anderson for more details. A 360-day year is made up of 12 months of 30 days each, and so has a neatness and perfection to it that is more heavenly than earthly. Incidentally, prior to the flood, there may have literally been a 360-day year, as this seems to be the case when we read the story of Noah. And then maybe everything changed as a result of the disruption to the earth caused by the flood. But that is a real side note. There are many other calendars that we could talk about, but one that is worth a mention is the 364-day calendar. This calendar was found during the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Tens of thousands of Dead Sea Scroll fragments were discovered in the Qumran caves near the Dead Sea. These scrolls were first discovered in 1946, but it's taken a long time for them to be studied and deciphered. Scroll 4Q324D describes a 364-day calendar used by the Qumran community that lived in the Judean desert. This Qumran calendar gives us insight into how the community organized the seasons and religious festivals. Whereas the lunar calendar required astronomical observations and human decisions regarding the timing of months and festivals, the 364-day calendar was regular. It could be divided into exactly 52 weeks and was also divisible by 4. This meant that special occasions could always fall on the same day. So, for example, Passover was always on Tuesday, the 14th of Nisan. The calendar was kept in alignment by having a leap week every 5 to 6 years. This calendar was the one used by the Essenes, the Jewish sect that were around at the time of Jesus. They believed that the 354-day lunar calendar used by the Pharisees was sacrilegious and meant that the religious festivals were being celebrated on the wrong days. For more information on Bible prophecy, you can go to prophecy-workshop.com. Thank you for listening.